I want to say that I am joining you from the city of Boston, and today is Black Joy Day in the city of Boston. And what gives me joy? Movement building, coalition building. And so this is very apropos that we would be coming together today in virtual community. Again, thank you, Carly, for that introduction, and thank you for your contributions to the movement. Thank you to Dekalb County Democrats for the invitation. I am so grateful to be here with all of you today. Thank you for moving with intention and choosing to take a stakehold in our democracy, especially in this moment when our country is at such an important crossroads, at such an inflection point. You know, I have many titles, policymaker, mother, survivor, but I think that which best defines me is that I am Sandy's daughter. I am my mother's daughter. May she rest in peace and power. My mother, my forever shero, the woman who gave me my roots and my wings. My mother was a tenants' rights organizer. She was a community activist. So I grew up with an incredible representation of activist leadership. And my mother did not read me traditional bedtime stories. She read me instead the speeches of Barbara Jordan and Shirley Chisholm, and instilled in me the value and the possibilities of movement building and the expectation of movement building and civic engagement. Now, we were growing up in the residual aftermath of the failed war on drugs, of many short-sighted draconian policies like redlining. There were so many reasons why we could have justifiably felt powerless. But my mother, who was a super voter, made sure I knew that being a super voter was our superpower, and that on every day, but especially on election day, that we were powerful. She would take me with her into that booth and pull that curtain, and she would say my whole name. I'm not giving y'all my middle name. She'd turn to me and say my whole name. She'd say, Ayanna, never forget that we are powerful. I believed her then, and I still do. I would come out of that booth and stand just a little bit taller. Now, you know, here's the thing. The incredible gains that we've realized as a society, you know, elected officials like to take the credit, but those gains were made possible because of movement builders, community builders, super voters, civic agents, change makers, table shakers, like all of you. You know, Reverend Barber keeps reminding us that we are in this moment of national reckoning, which demands of all of us a third reconstruction. And I'm enlisting all of you in that third reconstruction. The only way to effectuate change in a deep, meaningful, and sustainable way is to build an active and engaged movement committed to partnership and to progress. And that is the task, as well as the opportunity that we have before us right now. Today, our communities are facing overlapping crises, public health crises because of this pandemic, economic inequality, which existed before, but has only been exacerbated. And then the only thing that COVID-19 could not kill, systemic racism. And these crises have been exacerbated by an occupant of the White House and Republicans in Congress who at every opportunity, and in the Senate, which is why we're keeping an eye on and doing everything we can to make sure that we get John Ossoff there and Pastor Warnock, and very committed to making sure we continue to strengthen our good work in the House, which is why we need my sister Nakima Williams there as well. But at every opportunity, they've turned their backs on the American people and chosen instead to advance bigoted, racist, discriminatory policies. When it comes to this administration and their policies, the cruelty is the point. And when it comes to their culture, their callousness and corruption is the point. People ask me every day if I'm growing cynical or apathetic, given the scale and the gravity of the challenges that face us. And my response is always the same. I don't have the luxury. You don't have the luxury. We don't have the luxury. We have no choice but to stand in the gap in this moment. As my big sister, I call her OG Squad, Barbara Lee, alluded to there, this is more than just the most consequential election of our lifetimes. This is the most consequential election in our nation's history. So now we have to concentrate all our efforts, expend our sweat equity to evict the occupant of this White House. He knows that the only way that he can seek to hold on to that power that he has is to cheat and to steal. So we have got to elect Democrats up and down the ballot who are going to legislate our values. And it is incumbent on all of us, again, to make sure that we take back the White House, but also regain control of the Senate and the state of Georgia. And all of you, Georgia is in play. All eyes are on Georgia, as Representative Lee said, not only in winning the White House, but especially for the Senate, and again, increasing our majority in the House. Now, with Vice President Biden and Senator Harris, we have the opportunity to show the strength of this movement and to elect leaders who are compassionate after 4 years of a deficit of empathy. Leaders who are compassionate, invested in working in partnership, and committed to making real progress towards the systemic change our communities so desperately need and deserve. I'm proud of this ticket, but I know too that electing them on November 3rd is not the end of our work or our journey. Electing Joe Biden and Kamala Harris means that they are the door, not the destination. It's still going to be on us to organize, to advocate, and to legislate policies in deep partnership with community, which will advance racial, economic, education, transit, housing, healthcare, and environmental justice for all of our communities. Now, my mother told me in life, there's a difference between your job and your work. Your job is what pays the bills, but your work with a capital W is the work of the upliftment and the betterment and the advancement of community. So we find ourselves in an unprecedented moment, experiencing unprecedented hurt. But this demands of each of us unprecedented organizing, unprecedented mobilizing, and unprecedented hope. Between now and November, each one of us must do everything we can to engage folks in our community, to expand the electorate. Do not make assumptions about who desires and deserves a seat at the table of democracy. Talk to everybody. Don't make assumptions. Talk to your friends, talk to your colleagues, talk to your family, and make clear the stakes of this election. So thank you. Thank you for caring about your neighbor, your community, our democracy. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for your commitment to partnership and civic engagement during the most consequential election in our lifetimes. Our work with a capital W is just getting started.